Good day, everyone. Today, we are talking about the teacher education curriculum response to COVID-19 pandemic and beyond. But before that, I will show you first the desired learning outcomes or our learning objectives in this session. After this session, the students can identify the applications of occurrence of COVID-19 pandemic to teacher education curriculum. Next, propose adjustments to the curriculum during pandemic. And lastly, the students can identify the ways and means to address the curriculum vis-a-vis the situation that reveals during the pandemic. So in the teacher education curriculum response to COVID-19, the first thing we need to do is to modify our curriculum. So in modification of our curriculum, it is a process or making adjustments to existing programs in higher education, specifically teacher education, in order to respond to the needs of the learners amid and post-pandemic. It is basically the changes that we made in the curriculum so that curriculum may still provide the skills, knowledge, values among others that the students would need despite of being in the pandemic and after the pandemic. It is also the changes that we made so that we may attain the purpose or we may fulfill the purpose of the curriculum itself regardless of the situation or the pandemic that we are in right now and the post-pandemic scenario that we are facing after this pandemic ends, if it will ever end. Ano nga ba yung mga steps o hakbang upang uh, ma-modify natin yung ating curriculum? So the first thing we need to do is focusing on essentials, mapping the needed and enduring outcomes in the recommended and written curriculum. The challenge during the pandemic is how to create a balance between the relevant basic competencies for the students to acquire and the teacher's desire to achieve the entire outcomes of the curriculum. To solve this challenge, the teacher needs to revisit the existing curriculum and analyze the outcomes of the program or course. The mapping of the course outcomes should be done to determine the needed and the enduring outcomes and which outcomes should be emphasized. Ito yung mga challenges sa pag-aaral ng mga students during the pandemic ay yung maabot yung mga outcomes or yung goal ng curriculum. Siyempre, sa curriculum kasi meron niyang mga learning objectives or goal para sa mga students and because of the pandemic, nahihirapan yung mga students na ma-achieve yung mga goal na yon. So, para ma-solve yung problem or yung challenge sa curriculum, kailangan pag-aralan ulit ng mga teachers yung mga outcomes na yon para malaman kung ano yung pinakakailangan na ng mga student at kung ano yung kailangang i-emphasize. So here we have the needed outcomes and the enduring outcomes. When we say needed outcomes, these are the desired knowledge, skills, and values that are required to learn higher concept. They are defined as competencies that learners need for continuation, thus subsequent level of concept. They are considered as prerequisite competencies. So when we say needed outcomes, these are the learning outcomes that would give the students the knowledge, the skills, and values that they would need in order for them to be able fully grasp, comprehend, and understand the next level of learning by which they would have to undergo. So in our curriculum, in teacher education, we for example, we have assessment learning 1 and 2. Hindi mo makukuha yung assessment of learning 2 kung hindi mo makukuha muna yung assessment learning 1. Because in order for us to be able fully comprehend and maximize our learning in the next subject or in the next level of the subject or course, the needed outcomes are to be attained, or the needed outcomes need to be attained or taken by us in order for us to fully comprehend the next one. So without those, it would be difficult for us or for the students to be able to grasp or fully comprehend to the next level. So that is why they are considered as prerequisite competencies. In enduring outcomes, these are the knowledge, skills, and values that are overarching applicability in real life situation. So these are the competencies that are necessary not just for succeeding in a certain topic, but are useful beyond a single unit of the study. So when we say enduring outcomes, these are the competencies that would give the students the skills, knowledge, and values, among others, that would exceed. It would give the students the knowledge, values, and skills, among others, as a human person and not as a mere student of the academe. In curriculum modification, enduring outcomes can be given emphasis, and identifying in mapping the needed and enduring outcomes can also shed light on overlapping, so the teacher can't decide when the competencies would be retained or merged. Here are the examples of outcomes taken from the sample syllabus in art appreciation, a course in the general education curriculum in higher education. So we have box A and box B. In box A, the existing statement of outcomes in a syllabus. At the end of the 3-unit course, the student should be able to first mount and art exhibit, concept development, post-production, marketing documentation, and critiquing. Second is create their own works of art and curate their own production of exhibit. In the box B, modified statement of outcome cover the essential. At the end of the 3-unit course, the student should be able to create their own work of art through virtual production or exhibit. So, in the outcomes in the box A and box B are all essential. However, in the box A, there are 2 statements in the box. And sa box B, yung 2 statement na nasa box A ay pinagsama o pinag-merge into one essential and enduring outcomes. Here is another example of a unit outcomes for the purposive communication in the general education curriculum. So the 2 current outcomes will be merged into one outcomes to address the essential. So in the box A, current unit outcome of purposive education. At the end of the 3-unit course, the student should be able to determine culturally appropriate terms, expressions, and images, sensitivity to gender, race, class, etc. And second is determine cultural and intercultural awareness and sensitivity and communication of ideas. So in the box B, the modified statement of outcomes as essential. Use culturally and interculturally appropriate terms, expressions, and image in communication of ideas. So these 2 examples shows how learning outcomes can be reduced during the times of pandemic by putting 2 together into as one essential. So this example can also be applied to learning outcomes in teacher education. So that's all. Thank you for listening. My name is Viv Villejo.